I just grew $500 worth of this basil completely on accident. I didn't set out to do this. I had no idea this would happen because this whole time, as I've been getting these big, crazy bushes, I've been thinking to myself, how am I even gonna eat this much basil? All of this came from purchasing a $5 pack of seeds that turned into a $500 harvest, which is insane. I know what you're thinking. How do you know it's worth $500? I went to Albertsons and I said, okay, you and yours versus me and mine. I went to the produce section and I found the basil. I was looking for things like how much does the basil cost? How many leaves do you get for that certain amount of cost? How big are the leaves? And I'm using all of this to compare and figure out, okay, how much is my harvest actually worth? This is where the basil is. It is $2.99. I'm here at Albertsons and, ooh, looks kind of crazy. Dang, they don't even have a lot of basil. This looks the best and, there's a black leaf back there too. Okay, well this looks the best so far, so we'll just go with this one. All right, so let's see what we got. So it looks like you basically get a handful. I put this on a plate so I can count it just a little bit easier. So a lot of these are bruised in black, just like I suspected. So I'm actually not going to count those because most of my leaves are not black, and I'm not gonna count my black leaves either. Okay, so in that packet, I counted about 40 baby leaves, and by baby leaves, I do mean baby leaves. 5 of these baby leaves from Albertsons is actually worth 1 of my medium-sized basil leaves, so that's the scale I'm gonna go with. And here is a close-up, y'all, so you can see the comparison. It's literally 5 of theirs is roughly worth 1 of mine, and if I was to stuff my basil in that same Albertsons packet, there would only be 8 leaves in it, and those 8 leaves would cost $2, which is crazy. So that is the scale for how I'm gonna count this. 8 leaves equals $2. And I'm gonna be real with y'all, I can't sit here and count every single basil leaf, mostly because they're all identical and I know I would lose the count and it would take me forever. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to count all the leaves on one of my smaller plants, and then I'm gonna use that same scale to compare it to sections of my bushier leaves, and I'm going to make a very good guesstimate on how many leaves I actually have, and I'll probably undershoot it, but that's okay. I just want y'all to see how much money this is. All right, y'all, so compared to all 3 of my bushes, this right here is the smallest one, so I'm gonna count this one up in its entirety and let y'all know how many leaves this is, and we'll go from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 36, 37, 38, 39, 100, 101, 102, 103, 197, 198, 200, 201, 202. Believe it or not, this whole section right here is 200 leaves. All right, so if I take this section here, it's a lot bigger than this one, but I'm gonna go ahead, count it for like the same 200 or so, because I see some that really aren't worth harvesting. So this is 200, 400 here. I'm counting this whole woody stem part. Then I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna count this woody stem part. This one is massive. I have to come over on the other side and show y'all exactly how this one looks. So as y'all can see, or maybe not see, I don't know, but that's the stem that I'm working with. So it's basically this whole bush right here, which I'm already knowing this is twice as much as that plant. So that's gotta be, yeah, this one's gotta be like 400 leaves. That's gonna be 800 leaves so far. So I'm gonna count these right here as another 200. So 800 plus 200, that is 1,000 leaves so far. I already counted this woody stem just now, so I gotta count this plus this plus this. Dang, I mean, that is a lot. Honestly, yeah, I think that's another 400, y'all. This is my last bush. Look at what is moving here, guys. That's the whole thing. It has multiple branches. I think this is like 500 leaves, y'all. Now I got this one to go, and I got this one and that one to go. So I'm gonna try and put all 3 of these together. But I'm gonna say this one looks like about 300 leaves compared to the others. Yeah, because this right here is the cutoff line. So yeah, I mean, it's thick and bushy in there. So I'm gonna say that, 300. So crazy enough, y'all, that actually brings me to about 2,100 leaves. Now, I'm gonna take some off for error because I'm gonna go light on this count. I don't really wanna overshoot it. I wanna be as accurate and as fair as I can. So let's just say I have 1,800 leaves even. Let's just say that. All right, y'all, so now that I have done my final count, I'm gonna tell you exactly how this is $500 worth of basil. We already figured out that 8 of my leaves is equal to $2 of the grocery store stuff, right? If I have 1,800 leaves, all I have to do is divide that by 8, and that leaves me with the number 225. So basically that means that 225 packets of the grocery store stuff is equivalent to what I have out here. If we know that each pack is worth $2, 225 times 2, that equals $450. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's not 500. Lydia, you said it was gonna be 500. But we forgot one thing, y'all. I have already harvested throughout this season about 200 leaves because basil, if you guys know, it's just a cut and come again plant. Once again, with that 200, all I have to do is divide that by 8 and I get 25. So everything that I've already harvested is equal to 25 packs of the store-bought stuff, right? So we know that each pack is $2, so 25 times 2, that is $50. $450 plus $50 equals $500, y'all. So that is how I accidentally grew $500 worth of basil in my backyard. Nobody wakes up in the morning and just says, I'm going to grow $500 worth of basil in my backyard. Nobody says that. So the real question is, how on earth did this even happen? 4 things happened here that I had no idea were happening here. Number 1, basil is a very easy plant to grow. It grows vigorously. It don't need no help from you. I actually overplanted this basil because I just didn't believe it was actually gonna germinate and grow up and be a successful harvest, but it was. Number 2, basil is extremely drought resistant. When I tell you, I live in Texas and I could water it once a week. I could water it every week and a half and it would not care. It would survive, right? So that's another reason I was able to grow so much, is because it didn't really care about being watered that much. Number 3, when I was actually doing a little bit more research for this video, I found out that basil actually excels in poor soils. Now, I don't think my soil is poor or was poor, but if I seeded this in soil that it likes, I can fully understand why it would grow to the capacity that it's grown. Moral of the story, grow your herbs at home because the grocery store is robbing us blind. And you don't gotta go crazy like me and overseed and grow $500 worth, but you could probably save a decent amount of money by just going ahead and growing your favorite stuff right here in your backyard. And now I'm curious, which herb do you think is the most cost-effective to grow? Or which one is your favorite? Is it basil, cilantro, dill, mint? Leave a comment down below and subscribe if you like this video.